Very good morning, students. So today we are going to discuss about the different reactions of carbonyl compounds. So let's begin. So we are just going to revise all the reactions, and at the end of the today's lecture, I'll be sharing with you how to solve the problems. So as discussed, we have already discussed the basic part, that is the resonance and inductive effect. Then there are different reactions like method of preparations through the oxidation of alcohol, then oxidation of alkyl benzene, then reduction of acid chlorides, Friedel-Crafts acylation, Riemer-Tiemann reaction, acetoacetic ester synthesis, then the reactions like nucleophilic addition reaction, the formation of cyanohydrin, production by sodium borohydride reactions with then reactions with organolithiums and Grignard reagent, then acid-base catalyzed formation of hemiacetals, then reactions with ammonia and ammonia derivatives, semi-carbazide formation, hydrazine formation, hydroxyme formation, hydroxylamine formations, then the electromeric effect, then aldol condensation, cross aldol condensation, Cannizzaro cross Cannizzaro reaction, benzoin condensation, Perkin condensation, and there are tests mentioned to identify different aldehydes and ketones, a qualitative test, for example 2,4 DNP test, then test with Tollens reagent, test with methyl ketones, and the structure and uses of few of the aldehydes and ketones, like for example formaldehyde, paraldehyde, acetone, chloral hydrate, benzaldehyde, vanillin, and cinnamaldehyde. So, as discussed with the basic concepts, the resonance inductive effect plays a very important role uh, in determining the reaction, which kind of reaction can happen. So, let's begin with the first reaction, that is nucleophilic addition reaction. So, if you see the reaction mechanism, the nucleophile, it attacks on the electron deficient carbonyl carbon, the electrophile, and the carbon is sp3 hybridized, then oxygen, it gets protonated and it forms the addition product, that is alcohol. So in the first step the nucleophile attacks the carbonyl group, and in the second step protonation of the negatively charged oxygen by water molecule. Then the same reaction, it can be the rate of the reaction can be enhanced by addition of acid, and it becomes acid catalyzed nucleophilic addition reaction. So you can see here the acid, it is protonating the oxygen first, because of which this carbon becomes more electrophilic, and in the next step, if you see here, the nucleophile attacks on this electrophilic carbon, and then the base, it abstracts the proton, and the deprotonation occurs. So in the first step, protonation of carbonyl oxygen forms a resonance stabilized cation that bears a full positive charge. So you can see here the cation, it bears a full positive charge, and here in case of second step, the nucleophilic attack happens here and the deprotonation from this proton. So the first reaction of nucleophilic addition is the cyanohydrin formation. So you can see here what is happening in the first step. The nucleophilic attack of Cn minus ions forms a new carbon-carbon bond with cleavage of the CO bond. So here the pi electrons, they are shifting on the oxygen atom, and therefore it forms a new carbon-carbon bond. In the second step, protonation of the negatively charged oxygen atom by the HCN forms the addition product, and this is called as cyanohydrin. So there is another example here. You can see the benzaldehyde reacting with hydrogen cyanide. So Cn minus ions become nucleophile. It attacks the tetrahedral intermediate is formed, and then the oxygen is protonated to form cyanohydrine, and the product formed from benzaldehyde is mandilonitrile. This is the another reaction of cyanohydrine. So mandilonitrile is formed after it can be reacted with the lithium aluminum hydride and water molecule in presence of THF as a solvent. So you can see here the CN is getting reduced to amines. So, and here if you see in presence of acidic condition, it is getting oxidized to carboxylic acids. So reduction gives amines and oxidation gives carboxylic acid. So there are different examples. Next reaction is Grignard reaction. So nucleophilic addition of Grignard reagents and hydride reagents. This reaction you have already studied in the 12th standard. So this is the reaction which indicates the formation of Grignard reagent. So we have to take the alkyl halide and reacting it with the magnesium, and this it forms the Grignard reagent. So in the Grignard reagent, it is very important and essential for the students to understand the reaction mechanism, which bond breaks, and where is the carbon ion formation, or where is the negative charge and where is the positive charge. So here you can see the carbon and the magnesium bond breaks, the metal carries the positive charge and the carbon carries the negative charge. So if you see the reaction mechanism, what is happening in the first step in Grignard reaction, the carbonyl oxygen, it gets uh, the negative charge, the lone pair on the oxygen, it forms a bond with the metal, and then at the same time in the second step, the alkyl group carrying the negative charge, it attacks on the carbonyl carbon to form the tetrahedral intermediate, and in presence of acidic condition, then uh, hydrolysis occurs and it forms the alcohol. So it is very important here to remember that if we are taking starting material as formaldehyde, then when we are reacting it with ethyl magnesium bromide or any alkyl magnesium halide, it forms primary alcohol. If we are taking the substituted aldehyde, then for example here in case propanol, it forms the secondary alcohol, and in case of ketones it forms tertiary alcohol. So formaldehyde it gives primary alcohol, propanol it gives secondary alcohol, and the ketone it gives tertiary alcohol. This is another characteristic reaction. If we are taking starting material as an ester, and when we are reacting it with the Grignard reagent, the first intermediate which is formed, that is a ketone, and then this ketone again react with the second molecule of Grignard reagent to form tertiary alcohol. So ketone gives tertiary alcohol. So aldehyde will first form ketone when reacted with Grignard reagent, and then again it will get the ketone reacts with second molecule and it gives the tertiary alcohol. So these are the different examples which we have discussed. Next is the reaction with the hydride. So which are the compounds which gives the hydride? So lithium aluminum hydride, sodium borohydride. So here it is mentioned the different hydride delivering agents. So you can see here you have sodium hydride NaH, then you have lithium hydride, then calcium hydride, aluminum hydrides, and boron hydrides. So you can see this is also important. When the metal and the hydrogen bond breaks, the electrons of the bond they get shifted on the hydrogen atom, and therefore hydride is the hydrogen with the extra electron, and therefore it carries the negative charge, and since the metal is electron deficient, therefore it carries the positive charge. So hydride addition, if you see, The source for hydride here, it is indicated that sodium borohydride. So hydride it attacks, it is acting as a nucleophile, and this carbonyl carbon is electrophile. So nucleophile attacks on the carbonyl carbon, the alkoxide is formed, and this is being protonated to give you the alcohol. So here you have the substituted aldehyde, it gives you primary alcohol, and if it is ketone, it gives secondary alcohol. Again, if we are using acid chloride or acyl chloride as a starting material, and if we are reacting it with the hydride, since chloro group is easily leaving group, first intermediate which is formed is the aldehyde. So acyl chloride when reacted with hydride, it forms aldehyde, and then this aldehyde again react with another molecule of hydride to give primary alcohol. So another example, instead of acid chloride, if we are using ester, and if it is reacted with hydride, then again it forms aldehyde as an intermediate, and this aldehyde then react with second molecule to give the primary alcohol. So in both the cases, we'll get the primary alcohol. The another reagent which provides the hydride is dibal H. So it is DIBALH. The full form of it is diisobutyl aluminium hydride. So you can see here it is diisobutyl. On both sides we have the isobutyl group, and at the center we have the proton attached to aluminium. So you can see here the reaction, the methyl butanoate reacting it with the dibal H. What is the temperature? It is minus 78 degrees Celsius temperature is required to carry out this reaction, and it forms the aldehyde. And then this aldehyde again react with second molecule to give you the alcohol. The next is reactions of organometallic compounds, organometallic reagents with various carbonyl compounds. So this is the same as that of your Grignard reaction. So whenever you have the carbonyl compounds, when you react it with the metallic compounds, organometallic compounds in presence of nonpolar solvent, it gives you the alcohol formation. So as we have seen in case of Grignard reagent, when we are using the formaldehyde with Grignard reagent or organometallic compound, it gives primary alcohol. Then when we are reacting the aldehydes with Grignard reagent and metallic reagents, organometallic compound, it gives secondary alcohol, and ketone gives tertiary alcohol. The another reaction is when you are reacting carbon dioxide with organometallic compounds, it gives the carboxylic acids. So these are the different examples for revision. The next reaction is the reaction of alcohol to give acetals. So what is acetal? Basically, if you see, the acetals are, you can see here, the reaction type is the nucleophilic addition reaction, and then it is nucleophilic substitution reaction. So both the addition and substitution occurs in the formation of acetals. So you can see here the carbonyl group, it is reacting with alcohol in presence of acidic condition. First the intermediate formed is hemiacetal, and then this hemiacetal reacts with another molecules of alcohol to give you the acetal. What is the role or what is the use of this acetal formation? You can see here it is important chemically due to their role as protecting agents, and the equilibrium is shifted towards the acetal by using excess of alcohol. So we have to use the excess moles of alcohol to shift the equilibrium towards right, because you can see here these both the steps they are reversible. Then there is another reaction where the diols can be reacted with carbonyl compounds. So you can see here it is possible to use 1,2. So this is 1,2 diol and this is 1,2,3. So 1,3 diol to form cyclic acetals. So if you see the mechanism of formation of hemiacetal, there are two different mechanisms. One is acid catalyzed mechanism and another one is base catalyzed mechanism. So in case of acid catalyzed mechanism, the oxygen here, this oxygen will get protonated first, and then the alcohol becoming more nucleophilic in nature, it attacks on the electron deficient carbonyl carbon to form the intermediate, and then the proton transfer to give you the hemiacetal formation. While in case of base catalyzed hemiacetal formation, the base will abstract the proton of alcohol first, and then this is going to act as more nucleophilic in nature, and it attacks on the carbonyl carbon, the intermediate is formed, and the oxygen is protonated and it forms the hemiacetal. So if you compare both these steps, in acid catalyzed hemiacetal formation, the aldehyde is reacting with acids to form the intermediate, and then the nucleophilic attack happens. In case of base catalyzed, the base is reacting with alcohol first, then it is acting as more nucleophilic in nature and it attacks on the carbonyl carbon. So you can read it over here. For nucleophilic addition to carbonyl groups, acid catalyst works by making the carbonyl group more electrophilic. So acid catalyst makes the carbonyl group, so this carbon becomes more electrophilic, and base catalyst work by making the nucleophile more nucleophilic. So you can see here, this is your nucleophile, right? Here also it is nucleophile, but in this case, when it is base catalyzed, since base abstract the proton, this becomes more nucleophilic as compared to this step. So both types of catalysts are regenerated at the end of the reaction. So to summarize, hemiacetal formation and decomposition are catalyzed by acids or base. So this is the example. If you have hydroxyaldehyde, this is the characteristic example. If you see, where in the reaction we have seen, we supposed to add the alcohol and the carbonyl group, but here in this we have within the same molecule we have the alcohol also and the aldehyde also. So the nucleophilic attack happens and cyclization, so there is a formation of cyclic hemiacetal. So in the starting of the slide, for the hemiacetal we have seen that they are acting as hemiacetals, and acetals, they act as protecting group. So this slide explains how they are acting as protecting group. So if you see, I have starting material where I have ester group and the keto group on the cyclic ring reacting with first this reagent, it is Grignard reagent. So Grignard reaction should happen at the carbonyl group and it should reduce the carbonyl group. So you can see both the carbonyl groups here and here, they are reduced to alcohol. Now if you see the second reaction, again I have the same starting material, but instead of adding Grignard reagent, I have added 1,2-diol first, and then I have added Grignard reagent. So what happens if I add 1,2-diol first? So when I'm going to add 1,2-diol first, it is going to react with the acetone, the ketone part, and it will form a cyclic ring or the acetal formation. And then if you see the second carbonyl, the carbonyl group of the ester is unprotected, and then in the second step when I'm going to add Grignard reagent, it will react at this carbonyl group and it will reduce it to alcohol. So when I'm using acetals, my first carbonyl group is protected and it is not getting reduced to alcohol. Instead of that, only the specific expected or desired carbonyl group is reduced to alcohol. So that is how the acetals, they work as the protecting groups. The next reaction is Cannizzaro reaction. It is also called as self-oxidation reduction reaction. So a reaction of an aldehyde without alpha hydrogen. So what is alpha hydrogen? So if you see, this is the carbonyl group. Adjacent to the carbonyl carbon, so adjacent to this carbonyl carbon is this carbon. It should not contain alpha proton, or it should not contain a proton. So you can see here, this is the example of metabromo so it do not contain alpha hydrogen, and therefore when we are reacting it with the concentrated sodium hydroxide solution, it undergoes self oxidation. So this is the oxidized product and this is the reduced product. So after oxidation it gives carboxylic acid, and after reduction it gives alcohol. Then again, the another example is, this is formaldehyde. So formaldehyde reacting it with the concentrated sodium hydroxide solution. So this is the reduced product, that is methanol, and this is the oxidized product, that is formic acid. So let's see what is the mechanism by which this product form. So if you see the mechanism, in the first step is the nucleophilic attack on the carbonyl group to form this tetrahedral intermediate. Then in the second step is the hydride transfer on the carbonyl group of the another molecule of aldehyde. So when this hydride is getting transferred, so you can see here the hydride is getting transferred, and because of which this becomes RCH2O minus, and this is that molecule which forms alcohol. And after transfer of hydride, the original molecule, it forms the carboxylic acid. So here in this third step, there is a proton transfer from the acid part to alcohol to form the alcohol, and this is the salt, or the acetate salt, which then protonated to isolate the acid. So this is first distilled out when doing it practically, and then this is protonated to get back the carboxylic acid. So in Cannizzaro reaction, first step is the nucleophilic attack, second step is the hydride transfer, and third step is the proton transfer. The another type of Cannizzaro reaction is called as cross Cannizzaro reaction. So in the previous plain Cannizzaro reaction, we have seen there is a single type of starting material which is used and which is reacting with the strong nucleophile. But here in this case, we have two different aldehydes. So when we are using mixture of aldehyde and when we are reacting it with the sodium hydroxide, the strong nucleophile, the mechanism changes. So in the mechanism, we can see here the formaldehyde first, it gets converted to formic acid, and the vanillin is getting converted, or it is getting reduced to alcohol. So you can understand here, this is the basic chemistry. The first step in Cannizzaro reaction is the nucleophilic attack. So since here, if you see, this is the carbonyl group and here is the carbonyl group. So in case of vanillin, you have the aromatic ring, the pi electron system, then you have again methoxy group. So they are the highly electron rich substitution across the carbonyl group. While in this case, in case of formaldehyde, there is no such environment present around, and therefore when the nucleophile come close to the electron deficient carbonyl carbon, this is possible in case of formaldehyde. So first step in the Cannizzaro reaction, that is the nucleophilic attack, that happens in case of formaldehyde, and that not happens in case of vanillin. And then in the second step, the proton, the hydride transfer from formaldehyde to vanillin happens, and therefore this get reduced and this get oxidized. So you can read here, when mixed with another aldehyde that doesn't have any alpha hydrogen and concentrated NaOH, all the formaldehyde is oxidized and the other aldehyde is reduced. So this is the smallest aldehyde, and therefore this smaller one will always get oxidized to acid and the bigger one will always get reduced to alcohol. There are different examples. Can Cannizzaro reaction occur with ketone? The answer is no, because it contains alpha proton. So now next reaction is aldol condensation. So aldol condensation, the reaction of an aldehyde or ketone with dilute base or acid to form beta hydroxy carbonyl product. So you can see you have the aldehyde reacting it with either acid or base. So when I'm going to add it, the product formed is, what is the product form? It is beta hydroxy carbonyl product. So you can see this is the carbonyl group. So at alpha carbon, and this is the beta carbon. So you have beta hydroxy carbonyl product. So here in the starting, I have the same aldehyde. Here it is taken the mixture of aldehyde. So in the aldol condensation, this is going to act as base. In case of Cannizzaro reaction, we have seen the NaOH it act as nucleophile. In case of aldol condensation, it is going to act as base. It is going to abstract the alpha proton. So here in case of these aldehydes, since it contains the alkyl group substituted over here, it contains the alpha proton and therefore this is going to act as base. It is going to abstract the proton, that is alpha proton, and therefore it forms beta hydroxy carbonyl product. So this is the mechanism. In the first step, the base is going to abstract the proton to form carbanion. Then this molecule is going to attack on the second molecule, carbonyl carbon, which is electron deficient, to form the intermediate, and this oxygen is protonated to give you the product, that is 3-hydroxy butanol. So this is also the starting material taken as ketone, that is acetone, and the two molecules of acetone, they are getting condensed to form beta hydroxy carbonyl product. Next is cross aldol condensation. So in case of cross aldol, you can have two different aldehydes reacting together. So if you react two aldehydes or ketones together in aldol condensation, you will get four products. So in this case, base can abstract the proton of formaldehyde proton, or here it can abstract the proton from this part. So however, if one of the reactant doesn't have any alpha hydrogen, sorry, here the formaldehyde, it do not have the alpha hydrogen, it can be condensed with another compound that does have the alpha hydrogen to give the product, that is cross aldol condensation. So two different aldehydes, but here in this case it do not contain alpha proton, and here it contains alpha proton, and that is getting condensed. So the alpha proton from this carbon will be abstracted and this will be attacking on the carbonyl carbon of formaldehyde. Then the you have acetophenone, the ketone, and here you have acetaldehyde. So ketone and aldehyde reacting to form the cross aldol product. So a cross aldol can also be done between the aldehydes and ketone to yield one product. The enolate carbanion from the ketone adds to the more reactive aldehyde. So it is going to abstract the proton of the ketone and it is going to attack on the electrophilic carbonyl carbon of aldehyde to give you the beta hydroxy keto product. These are the revision problems you can later on go through. So next reaction we are going to discuss over here is uh, oxidation reaction. aldehydes and ketones, they form by oxidation of primary and secondary alcohol. So you can see here, if you take the primary alcohol, it is oxidized to first, that is aldehyde, and then it further oxidized to carboxylic acid. If you are taking secondary alcohol and if it is oxidized, then it gets oxidized to ketone. The further oxidation is not possible because it do not contains the free proton. And in case of tertiary alcohol, there is not at all any oxidation possible. So primary alcohol gives carboxylic acid on oxidation and secondary alcohol gives ketone. So the oxidizing agents will be used over here are KMnO4, that is potassium permanganate, or potassium chromate, dichromate can be used. So primary alcohol with KMnO4, they form salt and that can be isolated by protonation or making the solution acidic. And this is the MnO2, that is the byproduct form which gives brown color to the reaction mass. This is the reaction with the chromate, so orange red color formation. It gives the aldehyde and carboxylic acids when we are using primary alcohol. If it is secondary alcohol, then it will form only ketone. So you can just read over here, with no hydrogen attached to the carbonyl carbon. So you can see here the secondary alcohol, it contains the proton. This is the carbonyl carbon and therefore it gets oxidized to ketone. But in case of tertiary alcohol, if it is tertiary alcohol, then there will be one more substitution over here. And in that case, since it do not contains the free proton and therefore it will not undergo oxidation reaction and the product will not be formed. So summarize, primary alcohol, it forms the aldehyde as an intermediate and then it forms carboxylic acid. Secondary alcohol, it forms ketone. So primary alcohol forms aldehyde, secondary alcohol forms ketone, and tertiary alcohol, it do not get oxidized. Next is the oxidation of methyl benzene. So whenever you have the alkyl benzenes, for example here the toluene, when it is reacted with the oxidizing agent forms benzoic acid. So you can see here the toluene form benzoic acid. Also when you have butyl benzene or propyl benzene, it forms benzoic acid. When you have such kind of product, it forms on oxidation, these rings opens to form the phthalic acid. And in case of tertiary carbon, this is the tertiary carbon and this is not possible, it will not get oxidized. The next type of reaction here is nucleophilic substitution at carbonyl group with loss of carbonyl oxygen. And also we can say in the syllabus it is mentioned that reaction with ammonia and ammonia derivatives. So conversion of aldehydes and ketones to different products like imine, oxime, hydrazine, hydrazone and semicarbazide. So if you see this reaction mechanism, what it explains in the first step, this is the nucleophilic addition reaction mechanism. So nucleophile attacks, the oxygen gets protonated to form alcohol. But here in this case, this is nucleophilic substitution reaction. And why the substitution happens? Because the X is the good leaving group and therefore it leaves and the substitution occurs. So we are discussing over here the substitution at carbonyl oxygen. So this oxygen is going to get substituted. So substitution with loss of carbonyl oxygen. So let's see the first reaction. So if you see, the first reaction is the formation of imine. So we can see here you have the amine, then you have the carbonyl group. In presence of acidic condition, it forms skip space or you can say imine, and the oxygen is getting removed of carbonyl group in the form of water molecule. So the water, it contains the oxygen which is part of this carbonyl group. So in this chapter we'll meet substitution reaction of a different type. Instead of losing leaving group, the carbonyl group loses its oxygen atom. So you can see here you have the starting metal, that is benzaldehyde, reacting with aniline. So tetrahedral intermediate is formed, and presence of the water is removed to form the imines. So in this case, if you see the reaction mechanism, it is very important. The imines requires acid catalysis. If the acid catalyst is not added, then imine formation will not occur. So here the nucleophilic attack of amine on the carbonyl group, this is the intermediate form. Then the hemiaminal formation, where the proton of this gets shifted on the oxygen and forms hemiaminal. In the next step, the catalyst plays a very important role. It will protonate the oxygen, as you can see over here, and forms the leaving group, that is water molecule, which leaves. It forms iminium ion, and then it adjusts it to imines. So here the catalyst plays very important role. So this happens at below pH 4, and this happens at the acid catalyst needed, and it is slow above pH 6. So next is the reaction of carbonyl group with hydroxylamine. So you have NH2OH. So simply this oxygen will be replaced and this nitrogen will be attached over here, and it forms the oxime. Next is the reaction with hydrazine. So again the oxygen is substituted with the nitrogen and it forms hydrazone in presence of acid catalyst. Then the another reaction is the reaction of carbonyl group with the hydrazine, and this is called as Wolff-Kishner reduction reaction. So this carbonyl group is reduced to alkane. So you can see here it is reduced to alkane. So you have to just remember over here the whenever the reaction of carbonyl group with hydrazine in presence of base, it is reduced to alkane, and when it is in presence of acid, it forms hydrazone. So you can see here it is in presence of acid and it forms hydrazone. When it is in presence of base, it forms alkane. Next is when you are reacting carbonyl group with semi-carbazide. So again the oxygen is substituted and nitrogen is being replaced and it forms semi-carbazone. The next reaction is Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction. So you can see here the starting material which is used is benzene. It is reacted with the acetyl chloride in presence of catalyst AlCl3 aluminum trichloride, and it forms the acyl benzene. So you can see the acyl group is substituted on the aromatic ring, and this is called as electrophilic aromatic substitution. So we have discussed nucleophilic substitution, nucleophilic addition reaction, and now we are discussing about electrophilic aromatic substitution reaction. So if you see the mechanism, what happens is acetyl chloride and the AlCl3 will react first. The chloro group will form bond with the aluminum because it is electron deficient. So there will be bond formation, and it reaches to this group's leaves and it forms the acylium ion. So once the acylium ion, or you can say the carbocation, is formed, since the aromatic ring is nucleophilic here because it is rich with the electron pi electron system, so it attacks on the electron deficient carbonyl carbon, and this is the intermediate formed, and it leads to the formation of uh, benzene substituted with the acyl group by removing of the HCl. So it is very important the formation of acylium ion, that is the carbon electron deficient carbon, or you can say it is electrophile. This is your nucleophile. So nucleophile attacks on the electrophile to form the intermediate, and then that leaves the with the HCl ion. The HCl is being removed and it forms the acyl substituted product, and therefore it is called as acylation reaction. So Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction. So ElCl3 is used as catalyst. Next is the Riemer-Tiemann reaction. So Riemer-Tiemann reaction is when the phenols they are reacted with the chloroform and 3 moles of potassium hydroxide, the aromatic ring is substituted. So you can see at ortho position the addition of formyl group. So orthoformylated phenol formation occurs. Very important. Here you have to remember when phenols reacted with chloroform and 3 moles of potassium hydroxide. So if you see the reaction mechanism, very interesting reaction mechanism. In the starting, you can see chloroform. When what is the role of potassium hydroxide? As we have seen, 3 moles are utilized. So first mole it is acting as a base. It will abstract the proton of the chloroform to form carbanion. Then the Cl it leaves and it leads to the formation of carbene. So this is the very important intermediate which is formed, that is carbene. Then in the second step, the second molecule of potassium hydroxide, when it reacts with the phenol, it is going to abstract the proton of the phenol and forms the phenoxide ion. And when since it forms the phenoxide ion, so this ring is going to behave, or it is going to act as nucleophile, and the dichlorocarbene, since it is electron deficient, it is going to act as electrophile. So nucleophilic attack happens, this is being substituted, and that leads to the formation of orthoformylated phenols. Next is the benzoin condensation reaction. So benzoin condensation, it is coupling reaction between two aldehydes that allows the preparation of alpha hydroxy ketone. So you can see here at alpha carbon. So this is the carbonyl carbon, alpha 28. This is the alpha carbon. So on alpha carbon, it contains the hydroxy group, and therefore it is called as alpha hydroxy carbonyl or alpha hydroxy ketone. So when benzaldehyde it is reacted with potassium cyanide and ethanol, it forms benzoin. So this is the molecule which is called as benzoin. So let's see the reaction mechanism. So in the reaction mechanism, as you see in the first step, it is the nucleophile potassium cyanide. The Cn minus attacks on the carbonyl carbon which is electron deficient, and it leads to the formation of the intermediate that is called as nitrile enolate, and this is being acted as nucleophile, and this nucleophile attacks on the second molecule of benzaldehyde, the electron deficient carbonyl carbon, and this is the intermediate which is formed, and that leads to the formation of alpha hydroxy carbonyl product, that is benzoin. Then the last reaction here in this carbonyl group topic is the Perkin condensation. So Perkin condensation is basically used for the synthesis of ceramic acid. So it gives an alpha beta unsaturated aromatic acid by the aldol condensation of an aromatic aldehyde. So you can see here this is the aromatic aldehyde and an acid anhydride. So this is the acid anhydride. So what it forms, alpha beta unsaturated aromatic acid. So you can see here this is your acid part, this is the aromatic ring, and this is the alpha carbon. So alpha carbon and beta carbon, you have unsaturation, and therefore the product form of Perkin condensation is alpha beta unsaturated aromatic acid. So this is alpha beta unsaturated aromatic acid. When you are going to react it with aromatic aldehyde, and this is your acetic anhydride in presence of base. So this is going to undergo aldol condensation. So base is going to abstract the proton, and then condensation occurs. So you can see here this is the base, it is abstracting the proton of anhydride, it forms the carbanion, and then the carbanion attacks on the uh, electron deficient carbonyl carbon of the aldehyde, and it leads to the formation of cinnamic acid. So this is the Perkin condensation. So in the syllabus it is mentioned that different qualitative tests to be discussed. So first test to identify the aldehydes and ketone, it is called as 2,4-DNP test. Why it is called as 2,4-DNP test? Because the reagent which is used, it is based on that. So it is 2,4-dinitro. So you can see here the dinitro group is present over here, and therefore it is called as 2,4-DNP test. So you can observe over here in this diagram, after the reaction of this reactant with the carbonyl group, it forms the product, and this product is responsible for giving the precipitation. So this happens only if the aldehydes and ketones groups are present. So 5 drops of compounds to be tested are mixed with 5 drops of dinitrophenyl hydrazine reagent, which is orange in color, and you have to add ethanol and shake the test tube. So after 10 to 15 minutes, it is observed that yellow or orange red precipitate formation. So that gives the positive indication that the compound contains aldehyde or ketone. Next test is the Tollens test, also called as silver mirror test. So from the name itself, you can see here in the diagram, there is a deposition of particles on the inner surface of the test tube, which looks like mirror, and therefore it is called as silver mirror. And this deposition is of the silver. So you can see the Tollens reagent, it is formed. How it is formed? Tollens reagent, the silver nitrate reacting with sodium hydroxide and forms silver oxide, sodium nitrate and water. So this silver oxide is further reacted with ammonia to give the Tollens reagent. So what is Tollens reagent? It is diamine silver hydroxide. Then in the next step, when the Tollens reagent, it is reacting with aldehyde, and in presence of water, it forms carboxylic acid and it forms silver. So this silver, it gets deposited from the on the inner surface of the test tube, and therefore it gives the uh, this gives the mirror like image formation inside the test tube, and therefore this called as silver mirror. So whenever you have the compounds containing aldehydes and ketones, they react with Tollens reagent. The silver deposition indicates that aldehydes and ketones are present. So the last part which is mentioned in the syllabus, the different uses and the structure of the different compounds. So for example, here it is mentioned formaldehyde. What is the use of formaldehyde? It is used as strong smelling gas. It is used in building construction materials, in automobiles, for light materials and durable compounds. So if you see the another use, that is acetone, it is used as solvent, cleaning solvent. It is used for the preparation of polyester resins, then volatile components for paints, varnishes, etc. So these are the different uses mentioned over here. So you have to go through in the exam. It can be asked, give the use of, for example, vanillin. So what is the use of vanillin? It is used as food flavoring agent. So you have to write down the structure. So it contains the aldehyde, then it has the methoxy group and the OH group. So it is also used in cleaning products, tobacco preparations, and toothpaste preparations. It is also used in perfumes to mask unpleasant odors or test in the medicines. So here we have completed the discussion for uh, first year organic chemistry, physical, pharmaceutical organic chemistry, SEM 2, the carbonyl chapter, that is chapter number 4, which is mentioned in the syllabus. So thank you. Now we are going to discuss individually the different examples one by one.